All right, you ready to rock?
Sorry. Give me one moment.
God.
All right.
All righty. And here we go. Maybe, yep. 3, 2. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofict one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How you doing today, bub?
AJ, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling
Good.
great. Only thing that went wrong this week was my fantasy teams each started 0-1. But
Hey, it's okay. You can build.
it's early. It's early. I'm still happy with both of my teams, my rosters.
Good.
Just had a lot of players shit the bed.
It happens.
When you get 2/3 of your team just putting up single digits, and I'm talking about guys like T. Higgins, O'Marion Hampton. I know he's a rookie, but Malik Neighbors only putting up like 12 points. Fuck Russell Wilson, hate that guy. Can't wait for the quarterback change in New York.
We'll
But
be talking about that.
anyways, it's okay. I'm okay with it. Packers look fucking phenomenal. We'll get into that. I had a couple college football games. Both of my teams, I pretty much stopped paying attention by halftime, which is always a good sign.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
can be a bad sign, but in this case, in the good way. One of them in Minnesota, they didn't even really get through the first quarter, and I said, "All right, I'm gonna watch a better game."
They Gophers handled business. Gophers handled business this week.
Yeah, when it's 35-0 before the first quarter is over, it's time to watch something else.
For sure.
I don't care how diehard of a homer you are for whatever team. When you're up 35-0 in the first quarter, it's time to tune into a better game.
It is. It absolutely is. And there was a lot of that this week, but we have another great slate of football this weekend. Nice to have the NFL back, too. I mean, it was, and I know we have a couple more of these weekends coming up, Noah, but it was nice again to have one of those Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday type weeks. You know what I mean? Where every single night you get off work or, you have a weekend and then you can just go ahead and go chill in for the night or the day and watch football. It was so nice to get it all back, brother.
I gotta say, AJ, the nice thing though, because we do have a few college games that get sprinkled in there every Friday. We got some good
True.
ones this week on Friday.
Yeah.
There's some good ones in there. Hit or miss usually with the Friday slate on college. It is what it is, but we're only a couple weeks away from some Tuesday action, Wednesday night Sunbelt, Fun Belt action going on. And then we're into that stretch where there's 28, 30 something days of straight football. And
28 days of commercial football.
And if you don't get excited about Tuesday, Wednesday night action and Fun Belt action, you can't call yourself a real college football.
No, join us. Join the sickos that are us that live for action and Fun Belt action. It's amazing. And we're also getting close, Noah, to the sports equinox. We got a lot coming up and a lot to talk about today with our full breakdown of NFL Week 1 and college football Week 2 and the AP Top 25 and a couple other things sprinkled in there. Before we go any further, do just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But Noah, a lot of good stuff happened this weekend. A lot of bad stuff happened this weekend. A lot of questionable stuff happened this weekend. And we'll get to all of that. From the get-go of last week, when we got off air and started just enjoying our weekend, I had a plan to open up this show to talk about members of the sports media putting their foot in their mouth and being just dumb pieces of shit. And I'm referring to Ryan Clark and what he said to Peter Schrager and how he put a half-ass apology into a live tweet of the Thursday night football game. Whatever. Anyway, I thought that's what we were going to open up with and talk about how just because you didn't play professionally doesn't mean you can't comment about it, have an opinion, etc., etc. But no, Noah, we're going to talk about some different media member today. A media member I didn't know exist until this morning. A media member I didn't know, had nothing to do with me. I was living happy. I was living life. Another AP bowl drop. We're getting ready for our slates that we'll be doing tomorrow. I'm happy. And then this woman comes across my feed, Miss Haley Sawyer, Noah, and I sent you the tweet, and it is absolutely everything that was the worst case scenario of what we thought an AP voter was. That is who this person is, and that is what this situation is. When she goes ahead and moves Florida 2 spots up in her AP ballot after losing to USF.
At home.
At home. And I mean, listen, we've seen some wild shit coming out of the AP polls, AP voters, the playoff committee and everything. And we've always said, well, it's because they're not football people. Well, they have their biases. You need football people in there. You need fans in there. And this woman, who is a sports journalist, she is a sports journalist. No, let me go ahead and read you her bio. Sports journalist for South California News Group, primarily covering UCLA and high school sports. So that's why she can't cover college football. She's never seen a good college football team in her life if she's covering UCLA. Graduated with honors. All of these
football team in her life. I mean,
exactly.
You see how many people
fucking A. And she has an AP vote, bro. She has an AP vote. Are you kidding me? And I bet she does great work. I bet the work covering a terrible school in UCLA and covering high school sports, I bet she does great work. But the fact that she had the balls to go ahead and put Florida 2 spots up after their loss at home and then come out, because AP votes, those are open. You can see whoever. Yeah, they're public. Unlike a lot of these other ones, you can see where people put stuff. And so obviously, because college football fans are insane, they started tweeting at her. They started the hate. Like, what the hell is her problem? Does she even watch football? She comes out and gives up literally, Noah. It would have been better if she said nothing.
Yeah.
Then come out with the bullshit response of, I don't want to get into my what was the quote? I'm sorry. Let me read this. I don't want to get too much into my process or logic. It's really fun, but it doesn't probably matter in the end. No, you dummy, it matters. It matters because not only does it matter for the teams, not only does it matter for the matchups, not only does it matter for college football playoffs and ranking and seeding, it matters for recruiting. It matters for other sports. It matters for everything. Because yes, at the end of the day, it is just a stupid number in front of them that probably means nothing until the playoff committee gets in. But Noah, this is stuff they use to recruit. This is stuff they use to make money so that they can pay for the other sports, get better facilities, et cetera, et cetera. And for someone whose job it is to cover this sport to come out and just not give a shit at the end of the day, not give a shit. And it's like, oh, well, my poll doesn't matter because it all evens out, yada, yada, yada. No, it matters because this is a job. This is an important job that people rate a lot of stuff off of. And you're coming in half-assed, half-cocked, and just phoning it in. It's disgrace, and I know I have a mountain list of people that would prefer the honor of having an AP vote than this ungrateful reporter. My God.
That last piece there, AJ, that's what I was going to say. That at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because the College Football Playoff Committee does take over a little after the halfway point of the season, and that's what really matters. But this is an honor. There's only 63 voters, and yes, there are 63, which is good because as we've touched on a number of times, there's quite a few idiots who vote on the AP poll. There's quite a few idiots who submit their ballots. So it does help that there's 63 total people. So if you have 45 that know what they're talking about and 18 who are idiots, it's going to balance out decently well. But it's an honor to have the privilege to be an AP voter.
Yeah.
And this is ridiculous. And we have seen a few times in the past, voters have not paid attention to detail on their ballot and have mixed up Arizona State, Kansas State, stuff like that. That happens every once in a while. Feels like that happens once or twice every football and basketball season, which is ridiculous. Agree. It's ridiculous to make that mistake.
But that's a more understandable mistake. Like if you're going to make a mistake as an AP voter, that's the one to make.
So because that has happened before, and like I said, it happens 1 to 2 times, I still think it's inexcusable that these people are not paying enough attention to their own votes to make a mistake like that. So when this happened, when I saw this, my mind jumped straight to, oh, she meant to put USF there and leave Florida out of the rankings. Because that logically was like, okay, she just
Florida. Forgot the US part, sure.
Wasn't paying enough attention. Picked the wrong team. I'm sure they electronically submit these. So just like, was probably thinking about the Florida USF game and accidentally plugged Florida in there instead of USF. And if she came out and was like, oh shit, yeah, my bad, I made a mistake. I meant USF, not Florida, which they never go back and fix this. Like, it was 1 or 2 basketball seasons ago, ASU had a random fucking 8 or 9 points because somebody meant to put U of A at 17 and accidentally put Arizona State. But like, that would have been like, okay, you're still an idiot, but like, whatever. But she didn't even say that. She just like kind of almost laughed it off.
And was like,
it was like, it doesn't matter, which is also kind of taking down the credibility of the AP poll. Problem is, like, I don't think the coaches poll is necessarily better than the AP poll because these coaches are, I would say, more biased than the media.
Oh, like, for sure.
There's way more bias in the coaches poll. A lot of them tend to vote a lot higher on teams within their conference than they should. But yeah, this is bad.
It's an embarrassment.
I don't know how you lose a game at home and get bumped up 2 spots. Now, if she had USF 4 spots above Florida and then was like, yeah, I thought Florida put up a good fight. I wouldn't agree with it, but I'd be like, okay, even though it's flawed logic, there is some logic in there. This just makes absolutely no sense to leave USF unranked, move Florida up 2 spots after losing at home to a team that you still have unranked. It just doesn't make sense, and it just tells me you don't give a fuck. You're not taking care, like, whatever.
She don't know ball. Simple as that. She don't know ball.
And it makes sense that she covers UCLA because
totally makes sense. The moment I saw that, because I was like, there has to be something.
Well, because she can be wrong, every single time, and nobody's going to call her up for it because she's covering UCLA, and nobody pays attention to UCLA football. Not even UCLA fans. All 1,200 of them. Not even them pay attention to UCLA football. So, man, yeah.
I'm not asking for this woman to get fired or anything like that. Maybe she just doesn't need an AP vote, and maybe we just make sure the people who have AP vote like pass a ball test. Like, you got to pass a ball test. Or something like, because just because you're a writer, just because you're a reporter, and we see it in mainstream sports coverage all the time, it doesn't mean you know shit. You can talk, you can act like you can talk the walk or walk whatever the fuck it is, but no, you can talk the talk, but then they can't walk the walk, and then they come out and say absolutely outrageous shit. I mean, Colin Cowherd didn't know Chargers and Chiefs was being played in Brazil. And it's like, bro, the NFL has shoved that down our throats every commercial they can or any opportunity they can. How do you not know that? You know what I mean? And you got to know ball. You got to know ball.
I think what they should do with the AP voters is create some scale of like, if you're X amount of deviations off of what the AP poll ends up being over the course of the season, you lose your right to an AP.
I like that.
Because there are 63 people voting in each of these polls.
Yeah.
So if you are consistently over a 15-week season way the fuck off, like, you probably shouldn't have an AP vote, right? Like, if you have 1 or 2 teams on any given poll that are maybe 8 to 10 spots off, like, that's excusable so long as your overall poll is kind of fitting in. Like, you might just be really, really high or really, really low on like 1 or 2 particular teams,
which is totally fair. And we do that all the time. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't mean.
Well, especially early on in the season. Like, let's get that right too. The preseason AP polls, like, people are way fucking wrong on that.
Always.
That's why I'm saying you take the whole sample size of a full season. If you get the honor of being an AP voter for one season, but if you deviate too far on a consistent average basis from what that poll ends up being, then clearly you're not
cut.
You're just not reading the film. You're not reading the teams right. And then you shouldn't have the honor of being an AP voter.
Exactly.
And, all these people do have to have journalistic credits to their names to be invited to be an AP voter. I do love that the AP does they notate biases as well, both pro and con biases. If you go look at the website where you can, view all of their individual ballots every week. If you click on an individual voter, it'll tell you who they're biased for, who they're biased against, if they have a history of being biased for or against teams. It's great. It's great, except for there needs to be accountability. That's the only issue here, is there needs to be accountability. And I think something as egregious as this, like you should at the very least have to explain your logic, but I don't even think you need to have her explain it, right? You bump a team up 2 spots for losing at home to a team that you still have unranked. Again, like I said, if she had jumped USF into her rankings, like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, like 1 to 4 spots above Florida, and then still move Florida up, still makes no sense. But it's like, okay, there's at least some degree of logic. Like, you just are that high on USF that you aren't penalizing Florida for it. But to leave USF completely unranked and then move Florida up, it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
But, and the logic issue and everything, like her coming out, the issue isn't really, I don't think the issue is the poll. Because, like the poll is like the start of the issue. And then the issue is when she comes out and doesn't have a leg to stand on and doesn't say, doesn't just cop to the fact like, oh, I meant that to be USF and then put Florida by mistake. Like she should have just lied.
That would be
But then she comes out with this whole, oh, it doesn't really matter what I was thinking. Like, you all don't know football. Like, yeah. And it's not funny. It's not a joke. It's not, but whatever. Yeah. Now I know the name Haley Sawyer, and I really didn't need to. And again, this is something that we would have laughed at and been like, oh, some dumbass in the AP, but, Florida ahead of USF. What idiots. Like, did they watch football? But now because she apologized, didn't even apologize. She just came out and said, I'm an idiot. Like,
well, that's the thing.
It's a story.
She didn't apologize, but she addressed it, and she would have just been better off just not saying anything.
Yep. But
yeah, because then we wouldn't know. If she just didn't address it at all, we'd just be speculating, and I'd probably still be of the frame of mind that, oh, she meant USF.
Yeah, and we would have probably known. We probably would have known it was Haley Sawyer because Twitter would have been all over it and everything. But it would have gone away by tomorrow. But then she responded, and then she opened her mouth.
Probably the worst way possible, too.
And didn't even bullshit.
Saying, oh, it doesn't matter. There's enough other voters.
Yeah. Leave me alone, guys. It doesn't matter. Seriously. It's fine. Florida's better anyway. God, I just had a bad day. Billy Napier's so cute. Anyway, I got nothing else on it. It just pissed me off, and then hearing her response pissed me off even more.
No, keep these people accountable. Like I said, put some system in there where if you deviate too far on a consistent basis for a whole season, you lose your right to
ever be an AP voter again. Ever. Yeah. Make them watch film. Make them watch I guarantee you she didn't watch that game. Guarantee you she did not watch that game.
Because, again, that's why there's 63 of them, because people do disagree. They have different opinions, but ideally you want 63 very well-educated, involved people voting on this so you get the most accurate, rankings that you can.
Okay, screw it. Let's do what the college football committee does. Fly them out to a room and stick them in a room and create this poll. Do it. That's their new job. Their new job is just do college AP, and we fly you out to wherever for a season. You sit there and just watch ball.
Just logistically does not make sense, but
I don't care. Do it. That would make me happy. That would make me actually believe the poll. But anyway, speaking of which, no, you're ready to break down this week's top 25 AP poll?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about this absolute joke, dude. But I mean, not a lot of change here in the top 3. Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Oregon getting that nod, moving up to Oregon looking hot. Miami at 5. Noah, we'll start with the top 5. Georgia sitting there at 6 with their fall there. Where do you want to start on that, Noah? How are you feeling about the top 5? 6.
I mean, 1 and 2. I don't think there's any argument.
Yeah.
Obviously, 5 people thought Penn State's number 1. Those are probably 5 people that had Penn State in their preseason poll as number 1 and just haven't moved off of it.
Yep.
I know a lot of people were high on Penn State. Yeah, and LSU at 3, I don't agree with. I didn't last week. I know they got a great win over Clemson to open up the season, but that jump all the way to 3 felt a little too aggressive for me. And we're going to see. I still do not have an overwhelming amount of faith in Brian Kelly.
No.
And so that's what makes me nervous. Nussmeier, I think, is great. I'm not quite as high on him as most people are. Like, I don't see him as like a Heisman favorite. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. He'll be fine, but not a Heisman favorite, number 1 overall in the draft type of guy. But maybe I'm wrong. He could prove me wrong. I do think he's a really great quarterback, so I'm not saying he's like severely overrated or anything. I just think he's getting a little too many flowers. Oregon at 4, like, yeah, they move up 2 spots. Another massive blowout at home, which they tend to do against most teams. This one just happened to be against a power conference team, so they get a little extra flowers for it. Granted, I got played the fool. I thought last season going 3-9, 0-9 in conference play for Oklahoma State was a little bit of a fluke. Maybe not fluke, but I thought they were going to bounce back to like a 4-5 type of conference season. Maybe finish with 6 or 7 wins this season. I wasn't expecting a lot out of them, but at least a little bit of a recovery. They look like they picked up exactly where last season left off. I mean, Oklahoma State looks really, really bad. And yes, Oregon did completely fucking blow them out, overpower them. So good for them. Oregon just fucking reloaded their roster and they're back at it, whatever.
Oh, for sure. For sure. My one thing on LSU, I'm like, if I was an AP voter, I would be like, they might be in the top 10 still, but I don't have them at 3. I mean, 23-7 against Louisiana Tech is not something that you want to see out of a number 3 in the country. And
here's the thing. Georgia gets punished.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Georgia gets punished for playing a game closer than it should have been, and LSU sees absolutely no movement.
No, and actually, Georgia beats Austin Peay by more points.
Yeah, as they should have, though. I mean,
No. But like comparing the LSU and Georgia score, like Georgia beat Austin Peay by more than LSU beat Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, but it was also a 36-point spread for LSU versus
true.
Versus a almost 50-point spread for Georgia. So
yeah. Anyway,
you got to factor that in. But I think you look at the 2 scores, right? And yeah, Georgia won by more. They were favored by more. But those are 2 very, I'd say it's 6-1, half a dozen of the other, right? Like, both teams didn't win by anywhere near as much as they were supposed to. And somehow we're not going to penalize LSU at all for that and give them the pass, but we're going to drop Georgia 2 spots. Like I'm just trying to say make sense of that for me.
Yeah.
Georgia's still in my top 5. Ohio State, Penn State, definitely. Georgia in there. LSU, Oregon, kind of borderline. Depends on how I'm feeling on the day. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Miami at 5, I don't necessarily agree with. I know they beat a really tough Notre Dame team, but, you got to wonder if Notre Dame's maybe
not up to snuff. But Notre Dame started off pretty slow last year, didn't they?
Well, I mean, if you consider losing to NIU.
Yeah, I count that pretty slow.
Yeah, but
maybe this was their NIU game,
Guess what they did after that? They didn't lose another game until the national championship. So.
Oh, that's right.
No, I think they're fine. God, it's so hard this earlier in the season, though, because the sample size is so small. But I think Miami's getting a little bit overhyped. I think LSU's getting I don't know what's up with LSU. Like, I would have, in my preseason rankings, had LSU probably around 18 to 20.
Yeah, in there, but I mean...
And then they beat Clemson. But LSU's probably sitting around 10 to 11 in my personal rankings right now. I definitely do not have them as a top 3 team. And once they get into the gauntlet of the SEC schedule, it's going to be tough. And guess what? I don't even think it's going to be a cakewalk for them against Florida, who's coming into Death Valley. Luckily, LSU gets to play at home. But if Billy Napier, and I don't love Billy Napier right now, but if these players on Florida take this loss to USF as the kick in the pants that they need, because this is a very talented Florida team, this could be a game where Florida is completely in it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, watch out for that. But again, it's so earlier in the season, it's hard to, I guess I can't fault anybody for having any of these teams, LSU, Oregon, Miami, Georgia, anywhere that they have them there. I do think you have a clear-cut 1-2 right now in Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah. Ohio State and Penn State are your number 1 and number 2, and probably will be for the foreseeable future going through this season.
Well, until they start getting into Big Ten play.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. LSU and Miami, I just kind of have the same vibes about. I don't really trust the coach. I'm not seeing what I need to see from the team, and I don't know. I just think they're overhyped. That's just where I'm at with them. I think they're overhyped, and people want them to be back. People want them to be good so bad that they'll tell themselves anything to make it happen,
Well, and they also had to put LSU there because they couldn't have Big Ten teams 1, 2, 3.
Oh, God, no. Could you imagine? The world would end, Noah.
Yeah, although, Oregon's so tough for me because they've looked so fucking good in all 3 aspects of the game, as they often have under Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
Best thing they did was, they didn't even get rid of Mario Cristobal. He just left on his own.
That was the best thing to ever happen to them.
Yeah, and then they just replace him with a better coach. Although Miami's sitting at 5. I do not think Miami's going to be top 5 come the end of the year. I'll just say that. I think they take 1 or 2 losses in the SEC, which are going to be much more crippling than a Big Ten or SEC or ACC. Sorry, and that'll be much more crippling than an SEC or a Big Ten loss. But
yeah,
I want to see Oregon play somebody. That's the only thing I'm waiting for. Because
I feel like
Penn State's in the same boat, though. They haven't played anybody. Georgia hasn't really played anybody. So it's like, okay, it's so hard to judge these teams until they truly play somebody. Ohio State, we got to see against Texas. So there's that, right? LSU, we saw. Why am I fucking blanking?
Who?
What? Who did LSU play week 1? Clemson.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I said that earlier, and then for some reason my brain just decided it wanted to shut off. But we've seen Ohio State against Texas, we've seen LSU against Clemson, we've seen Miami against Notre Dame. Talk about Penn State, Oregon, Georgia. Haven't really seen them against much, and I think that's maybe why Georgia got punished and LSU didn't, was because LSU does have that Clemson win under them. True. But Clemson, who we'll get to in a little bit, they didn't particularly look great in week 2 either.
Huh? Maybe he doesn't have it all together. Just for note, Oregon's next 3 games: at Northwestern, home against the Beavers, and then at Penn State.
Yeah,
for
so
4:30 p.m. game, so probably a Penn State whiteout game.
Yeah, so 2 cupcakes and then at Penn State. Game day will definitely be there.
Yeah.
Big noon kickoff going to be in Eugene for Northwestern Oregon, and I'm like, really? That's the best game you guys could scrounge up?
Oh, they're at Northwestern then, because it's at Northwestern.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
They're at Northwestern for Oregon Northwestern. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is why you guys are second rate. Big time second rate to college game day, and they're not even going to come fucking close, because that's your big noon kickoff game that you're choosing is fucking Oregon Northwestern. A game that's probably going to be a 40-point blowout.
For sure. What's that line, you think?
I'm going to 37.5 is my guess.
You think 37.5? 27.5. Ducks favored. At minus 125. So it's going to move.
They're moving Oregon's line down 1 point every week until they don't cover. It was 29.5 week 1, 28.5 week 2, and now it's 27.5. They're like, we think Northwestern is a little bit better than Oklahoma State and Idaho.
We are willing to find out at 27.5. But that is Penn Gaming putting that line up, so who knows?
Yeah, I think I've bet against Oregon on the spread 2 weeks in a row, and I think I'll be flip flopping and just accepting the fact that they're just going to run Northwestern out of their own building.
I get it. I get it. Oh, by the way, shout out McCormick in the chat. You ready to keep moving? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
7 through, I got 13 up there, but we'll just talk 7 through 10 right now. Texas, Notre Dame, Illinois, Florida State to round up the top 10 here. Noah, how do you feel about that?
We'll see. Texas is 0-2 against the spread.
Yeah. So that means they're a good team, not a great team, huh?
Only beating San Jose State by 31?
Yep.
I was kind of expecting a huge bounce back and for them to win a game like that at home. San Jose State's not like a bad team. I expect them to be a 7-8 win team this year. But they do play in the Mountain West. And so Texas being favored by 37.5, I thought they were going to have no problem covering that. They win 38-7. Fine and dandy. But San Jose State was in the red zone like 2 or 3 times and didn't get points out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on Texas.
No.
I'm not sold. I wasn't sold on them at 1 to start the season. I would have been fine with them at 7 to start the season. I would have been fine with them at 3 or 4. I think that would have been appropriate. My only worry was we hadn't seen Arch Manning play at all. And Arch seems like he has some learning to do. And I'm not 100% sold on Sark either. I never have been. Obviously, they had the great year last year, which was their best year since Sark's taken over. And they barely got past ASU in the second round. And then got shit on by Ohio State. I don't know. I don't think Sark's on the same playing field as like a Kirby Smart and Nick Saban.
No. Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning's number 1, but whatever. Yeah, I think there's just better coaches, and again, it's coaches because it's no shortage of talent with Texas. But I was expecting, and I'll cheer for Texas. I wasn't hoping for, but I was hoping for their sake, a huge bounce back, like 50-point win over San Jose State. That would have been a big statement game that they could have made. Doesn't happen. They got to figure some shit out real quick before they get into the heat of SEC schedule.
For sure.
They need to figure it out quick. Otherwise, they could be in trouble. I'm not going to jump the gun on that, but they could be. We'll see.
I'm with you. No, I think Texas is not in a good spot right now. I do think I think we saw a little bit better out of Arch this week, but it wasn't like, it was just one bad week again in week 1 against Ohio State at Ohio State. It's no, there's still some development that definitely needs to continue. So
and again, the problem is they're running out of time. If they don't figure it out quick and they take a second or even a third loss, they're going to be in jeopardy of missing the college football playoff.
Yeah, so hopefully they can get it figured out for Arch's sake and for the Cowboys' sake, since they probably want to draft him next year. But anyway,
yeah.
Notre Dame moving up a spot. Illinois moving up to Florida State. Is Florida State back?
It's
only put up 77 points against East Texas A&M, Noah.
Yeah.
And they did allow a whole 3 points. So maybe some worry with that defense right now.
Yeah. Florida State's going to fall into the bucket for me of this is an overreaction because we're so damn early in the season. They played a really good game at home against Alabama. We don't know how Alabama's going to be. We're going to have a much better idea once they play Wisconsin. Not that Wisconsin's great this season, but
that'll be a good litmus test for them.
Yes, that Wisconsin at Bama game is going to be a very, very telling game. I'm not putting any weight behind Florida State winning 77 to whatever against East Texas A&M. Means nothing to me. Notre Dame, the one team in the top 25 that did not play this past week, move up a spot because of it. Whatever, that's fine. They probably should have beaten Miami week 1. Doesn't get done. A couple fluky plays in there. That game could have gone either way. I probably have Notre Dame a little bit lower.
Fair.
Probably in the 11 to 15 range personally, but I also have Miami a bit lower. So those two kind of are in the meantime tied together until they actually play some tougher competition.
Yeah.
And then there's Illinois. Then there's Illinois, the Fighting Illini, and AJ, what have I been saying since the end of last season? I was saying, oh, watch out. Bielema's in the kitchen and he's cooking. And if Illinois played Indiana's schedule last year instead of their own, they would have been in the college football playoff. And I believe, off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly, I think Illinois got a easier schedule this year.
They do.
They have 2 games against ranked teams in the Big Ten. If Illinois goes 10-2, I got to imagine they're probably in.
I would imagine.
And they're going to have depending on how the Big Ten shakes out, they might have a chance to play in the Big Ten championship game if they can win one of those 2. But they look good. They look good.
Yeah, they look tight. Like, it looks like a tight run ship. Bielema's got his guys in there, and I'm all on board now, Noah. I'm all on board. I mean, I know I've been fighting the Illini the last couple of years, but I'm on board. I think Bielema's got this team going in the right direction, playing some damn good football, and they're going to keep it moving.
Yeah, he was wearing blue this last week. Unfortunately, I like when he wears all orange because he just looks like an orange because he's so round. Love the man though. Growing up as a Minnesota fan, I hated Bielema because he was at Wisconsin and they kick our ass every single fucking year. And that was Wisconsin had some of their best days in football when Bielema was the head coach. He's one of the best coaches to coach the University of Wisconsin. Things started turning down a little bit. He bounced around a little bit, but now he's back in the Big Ten with Illinois, and he's got a real fucking legit program here. And I don't think Illinois is getting anywhere near enough love.
No.
For what they're doing. I mean, they had a tremendous season last year, and they're just building on it. They look even better this year. Luke Altmaier, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in college football right now. And he does not get talked about hardly at all.
No.
Luke Altmaier is, and maybe his stat lines aren't as flashy, but that dude can ball. Illinois got a complete team. This defense, don't be surprised if they're a top 10, top 15 defense in all of D1. And they're going to have a capable offense to go along with that defense. So Illinois, I would not be shocked at all if they're a team that is in the college football playoff when it's all said and done. And I think they'll go at least 10-2 this year.
I'm right there with you, bud.
I love them in the top 10 already. Put those high expectations on him. I know Bielema wants it. I know the team wants it because of his culture that he's bringing to that team. And so let him live up to it. Put those expectations on him and let him live up to it.
I love it, Noah. I love it. Let's move on to the top 15. Number 11, South Carolina. Number 12, Clemson. 13, Oklahoma. 14, Iowa State. 15, Tennessee. Where do you want to start?
I'll start with the 2 South Carolina schools there, right at 11, 12. 2 very different opinions on them. Man, South Carolina's frisky and fun. They're frisky and fun right now. They're 2-0. I think they deserve to have a decent ranking. Do I think it's going to stand throughout the entire season? No, I don't. I think they're going to be on the outside looking in of the college playoff once again.
Towards the end, probably.
For a second year in a row. But, whatever. Give them their flowers right now. It's fun. I think they're just going to get too beat up by that SEC schedule. But when I'm looking at rankings, unless you're the college football playoff at the end, you're not looking at what you're expecting in future games. Shout out Florida State. The AP poll is supposed to be about what are we seeing now? What are we seeing now? And Lenora Sellers, I think, is going to be in the top 5-10 for Heisman. He does it all. Little dual threat quarterback. I mean, he's pretty phenomenal. He was pretty raw last year, but looking a little bit better. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I think they're going to be a threat in a lot of games to upset some of these top SEC teams. But I also think they're going to be in a lot of they're going to play a lot of fucking one-score games. That's what I think with South Carolina, and how they do in those is going to dictate where they end up at the end of the season. Clemson, I thought Clemson's defense looked really good in that LSU game.
Yeah,
I really thought they did, and I was shocked because I wasn't really expecting Brian Kelly and LSU to have much of a defense. But then they came out real slow, and I know there was a big, long weather delay, and so you could factor that in this past week, having that hour or two long weather delay. Just throwing the groove off a little bit. But
totally.
They've underperformed 2 weeks in a row. They only get dropped 4 spots here. They started the season at number 4. I'm maybe dropping them all the way to 18 or 20 at this point.
Yeah.
I think they still deserve to be ranked, but I'm maybe dropping them all the way down to 18, 20 at this point.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Clemson ain't doing it for me. I know everyone maybe thought Dabo had it all figured out and everything, but I don't know, man. It seems like it's going to be a lot of the same from Clemson. High expectations with this coaching staff and everything, and we're just waiting for the day for him to jog down that hill one more time. But
I came in really high on Clemson to start the season.
You did, yeah.
Finally bought into the transfer portal and NIL instead of just trying to reject it. And maybe maybe LSU is that good, and maybe the weather messed up the second game.
Maybe
messed up the groove of it. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but for the purposes of what I've seen from them in a small sample size, especially when other teams have a small sample size, I'd penalize them by dropping them to 18 or 20 right now and letting them work their way up through their play on the field.
Yeah, they need. I need to see something out of them. I need to really see a good performance out of them for me to start even thinking about getting behind them and on that train. Oklahoma, moving up 5. How you feel? Oh, you back?
Good. Oh, no, they look good. Yeah, I know. I was big on Michigan. I thought they were going to win this game big time. Definitely, I thought they had more depth than Oklahoma, but Mateer looked good. This Oklahoma team looked good. Looked really good on the defensive side of the ball, which I guess shouldn't surprise because, you look at their coach Venables, and that's kind of what he did.
Yeah,
for Clemson. That's how he had Clemson so good for so long. Yeah, I got no problem with Oklahoma at 13. I actually have them a little bit higher personally.
That's fair.
Which I didn't, but after last week, I'm not, I'm humble enough to admit when I was wrong about a team, especially this early on in the season. And I was wrong about Oklahoma. They look to be a complete team. They look to be pretty dang good.
I'm with you. They look solid. They look solid all 3 parts of the game. Keep it moving there. What about Iowa State winning the Cy-Hawk Bowl this week?
Man, what a time to be an Iowa State fan.
Honestly.
3-0 to start the season. You've beaten your 2 biggest fucking rivals already.
Yeah.
You're 3 games in and you already got wins over your 2 biggest rivals. One of them ranked at the time, not ranked anymore, who they do not look very good. Granted, both of those games have been really tight, but rivalry games often are tighter than they should be. Sure. And, Iowa State's sitting at 14. Most people are probably sitting there thinking like, okay, that's appropriate. That's fair. I'm saying rank my guys at Iowa State higher. Rocco Becht is a hell of a quarterback. Loses his top 2 receivers to the NFL draft. And so there's some chemistry building that needs to happen with those receivers, but they got a great backfield. They got a great offensive line. They got a great defense. I'm not worried about them. And I imagine they're going to breeze through most of Big 12 play. Maybe not like blowouts, but I think they'll just do fine. I'd like to see them maybe not in the top 10, but a little bit closer to that top 10, sitting probably at 11, 12 for me. Maybe even right on 10. That's
fair. I'm good with that. I like this Iowa State team a lot. Like you said, Rocco Becht is awesome. The defense is solid. Let's see them get to the playoffs one time, brother. That'd be fun. That would be fun.
Hey, man, I said before the season started, I called my shot. I said Iowa State, Texas Tech, Big Ten championship. I think neither of them were even in the top 2 or 3 in odds for that. But
No. Well, here we go. I mean, Tennessee jumping up 7 after a big win against East Tennessee State, 72 to 17. That, like, what the hell?
Get the fuck out of here! Too much.
Seriously, how? Like, the math doesn't work, dude. It just don't. It doesn't math at all. Like, you punish other schools, and then don't reward other schools for bigger blowouts, and then we're jumping Tennessee 7 spots. Like,
we just need to stop fucking paying attention or paying any respect to these 50, 60, 70 point blowouts.
Seriously.
Against fucking FCS schools. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tell anything, right? If any team in the top 25 was playing an FCS school and they wanted to keep their starters in for the entire game and run their normal offense and defense and not try out new things and not throw in their backups, their third strings, any of them could probably beat almost any FCS school. And I say almost because probably not the top 10, 15 FCS schools. But the other ones, any of these teams in the top 25 could win by 50 to 70 points in any of these games. So, and Tennessee's notorious for running up the fucking score.
Yeah.
On these shittier teams. They are one of probably the most notorious teams for doing so. And why are we rewarding them with a 7-spot jump? I know in the coaches poll, they only jumped up 2. They had them higher in the coaches poll to begin with. But 7 spots for blowing out an FCS school, like, get the fuck out of here.
It's wild. Maybe maybe they're big Shane Gillis fans. They think the head coach looks like him. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. That one doesn't make any sense to me, but congratulations, Tennessee. Let's keep it moving to finish out the top 20 with A&M, Ole Miss, South Florida, Alabama, and Utah coming up.
And so here's where this gets really confusing, right? Because A&M it also blows out an FCS school.
Yes.
Alabama.
No, A&M was a little bit closer, 44-22.
Who did A&M play this week?
Utah State.
Oh, that's right. They didn't even cover the spread, but Utah State's a decent program out of Mountain West. Ole Miss actually has a conference game.
Yeah.
Alabama blows the fuck out of an FCS school. Somehow Tennessee leapfrogs A&M and Ole Miss.
I don't, dude. The AP hurts my brain, dude.
That's my problem here. Is they leapfrog Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, and they did the same thing as Alabama. Ole Miss played a conference opponent and beat them, and A&M played a FBS school at least. And
with the AP's logic, Alabama puts up 73. Tennessee puts up 72. Alabama allows no points to be scored. Tennessee allows 17 to be scored. So by their logic, Alabama should be the ones taking the 7-spot jump, and Tennessee should be taking the 5.
It makes no sense. Whatever. Not going to pay too much attention to it. South Florida, welcome to the mix. And I said last week, South Florida, if they want a legitimate chance at getting that group of 5 spot in the playoff, they're going to have to beat Florida or Miami. And I said, I don't see hardly any shot at them beating Florida. Well, what they do, they go out and beat Florida thanks to Billy Napier and him being a fucking idiot. But partial thanks. At least they got themselves in a position for Billy Napier to be a fucking idiot and hand it to him on a silver platter. What the fuck was that? Billy Napier just not giving his offense an opportunity.
Yeah, that didn't make...
And then in his post-game conference going, well, I figured, 3 points that, then or now is the same thing. Fuck, it's not.
No. That
was terrible. That was some Mario Cristobal level shit. Who, guess what? They get to play Mario Cristobal next week in Miami.
Can we just take a quick side note, Noah? That is probably the game I'm most excited for this week. Which coach can blow a game better, Cristobal or Napier?
And if
Yeah.
you're South Florida, I mean, you got to be licking your chops. You're like, oh boy, here we go again. Underdog by almost as many points as they were last week at Florida. So that's going to be interesting.
That is. It's going to be very interesting.
Going to be interesting. I still am not sold on South Florida. If they beat Miami, I will eat my words.
Okay.
I will write them on a piece of paper and eat it on air if they beat Miami, but I just don't see it happening. I'll write South Florida is a damn good football team, and I will eat that piece of paper.
No. I want it on Twitter. I want you to post on Twitter that if USF beats Miami, you will eat your words, literally.
Okay, sure.
Let's go.
But yeah, good for South Florida. Big ass jump into the rankings, going from unranked all the way up to 18 here. I think it helps their case that Boise State came out with a blowout on Friday night, making them look a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, congratulations. Give them their flowers. We'll see if they get blown out by 20 or 40 points by Miami. I don't know if they'll fall all the way out, but probably fall to about 23, 24. And as soon as they lose a conference game, they're fucking out of the rankings. But
yeah,
we'll see. If they beat Miami, they're probably going to be ranked 9th.
At this rate. Maybe it'll finally break Haley's top 25.
Oh,
Maybe.
One can hope.
Or Miami's going to have to take another 10 spot jump anyway.
Yeah. And then, to round out the top 20 here, Utah football, I think they're back. I don't know what the fuck happened last year.
No, Utah's back.
I don't know what the fuck happened last year. And kind of like what I said with Oklahoma State is I'm like, I expected a bounce back. What the fuck happened last year? Oklahoma State does not look like they bounced back. Utah looks like they are back rounded into form, and they're like, 2024? That year didn't exist.
I think it helps that they pretty much know who their quarterback is going in every week. And there's not a if will he, won't he situation going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no more prepping the entire offense for Cam Rising. Play.
For Friday to come around, and then we're doing walkthrough with the backup.
And they got a hell of a quarterback there.
He's a dog.
Dampier from New Mexico.
Yeah.
And not only
certified dog.
What?
Certified dog.
Not only did they bring in Dampier from Mexico, they also brought in his offensive his coach's offensive coordinator. So you get a little two-for action there, and clearly it's working out well for them. They're having no issue scoring points on the offensive side of the ball. You know that Whittingham defense is always going to be tough too. Utah could very well threaten for a Big 12 title this year.
Yeah, very well. Could very well. Let's wrap up the top 25. Noah, Texas Tech, Indiana, Michigan, Auburn, Missouri. Welcome to the rankings.
Bro, how the fuck is Texas Tech only at 21?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm going to keep beating this drum every single week until they get ranked appropriately. And maybe I'm just way higher on Texas Tech than everybody else, but what have you seen through 2 weeks that you have not loved? Maybe they haven't played tough competition, but they've been dominant on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball 2 weeks in a row. This team is damn good. They went out and spent $25 fucking million in NIL money last year. Not last year, this year.
This year.
I'm sorry, but Texas Tech is in my top 10. And this is probably
I'm fine with that.
This is probably my biggest deviation off of what the AP poll is. But Texas Tech is in my top 10.
I don't hate that, Noah. And I mean, granted, they only beat Kent State 62-14, so it's not like Tennessee. So it makes sense.
Oh God! They only beat they only beat an FBS MAC team 62-14.
Exactly, they didn't beat an FCS school, Noah. So you got to take that into account.
Funny because Tennessee only beat an FCS school by 7 points more than Texas Tech beat a MAC school by.
No, if there's one thing I think we figured out in this last hour of conversation about college football, it's that the AP is a joke. And like, this doesn't mean jack shit.
It is. I this early on in the season, because I do have question marks. Texas Tech is a borderline top 5 team for me right now, and
I'm with you.
I could be wildly wrong on that, but I really, really, really think Texas Tech is in for a monster fucking season here.
I couldn't agree more. No, I love what Texas Tech is doing and how they're playing. How you feeling about Cignetti and Indiana? You cooling off on them?
Yeah, well, I'm same boat I've been in. This second week now. Last week was the first week. I need to see it from them. They, looked a little bit better this week. A little more in command, but
Yeah,
they have a much tougher schedule this year.
for sure.
New quarterback. I have a lot of faith in Cignetti. I think he's going to have this team in the rankings by the time the season ends. But I don't. I don't. You look at the Big Ten, and you got Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Illinois all up there. Even Michigan, who's ranked now one spot below them after losing to Oklahoma. But I can't really work out a scenario where I've got Indiana in the top 4 teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And playing a tougher schedule this year. I feel like 22 is appropriate. I feel like it's appropriate. They got probably the easiest schedule in the Big Ten last year, which benefited them. Definitely did. Now you don't get that. They're going to have to win a big game or two this year. They're going to have to win a big game or two this year. So I got no problem plugging them right in there at in that 20 to 25 range until they can beat somebody who also has a number next to their name.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from. We'll see when it gets there, but we're going to have to wait. Michigan dropping 8 spots. I don't have a problem with that after their loss to Oklahoma. And for those of you wondering, Arizona State lost to an unranked SEC school, not to a ranked Oklahoma. So that's why ASU is no longer on the top 25 and Michigan still is. Yes, again, ASU lost to an unranked SEC school.
Probably the worst team in the SEC, but
who cares? Anyway, Auburn and Missouri in here. I mean, I don't really have an issue with it.
We got to cram as many SEC schools as we can in here. But Auburn, they got that win over Baylor. If SMU had beat Baylor, I don't know that Auburn. I think they might be slightly outside. But I think it makes that Auburn win over Baylor look better because Baylor then went on the road and beat SMU.
True.
SMU obviously going from 16 to unranked. So big fall for them. Missouri looked good against Kansas. Kansas, I thought could have won that game. They might have been different if that was played in Lawrence.
Maybe.
But, that's always going to be the case. So if you want to be good, you got to win on the road. I think Jalen Daniels is in for a really good year. Missouri, I think, is a very legit team. Do I have them in the top 25? No, but I also could totally entertain a case for them being in the top 25. Same thing with Auburn. I mean, these are 2 teams that I don't personally have in my top 25, but I could totally entertain a case for them. It gets so hard. It's weird. Right when you get to and every single week, it's a different point where it's a cutoff, whether it's 22, 23, 24. But it gets to a point every week where it's okay, now I have 7 teams, and how do I cram 7 teams into the last 2 to 3 spots in the top 25? And at some point, you just got to kind of just pick and choose.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I want to do a new fun segment. No, we might just do it this week, but we're going to do it because I just want to rub some salt in the wound a little bit. Out of the 3 teams that became unranked this week in Arizona State, Florida, and SMU, who had the worst loss of the week?
Ooh. ASU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best loss of the week, Florida.
Yeah.
I know they drop out of the rankings, but if USF beats Miami in Miami, Florida losing on a last-second field goal doesn't look that bad anymore.
No.
So there's redemption from that. SMU losing to Baylor. Baylor lost to Auburn, who's ranked. If Baylor goes and contests and finishes top 4 or 5 in the Big 12, it's not that bad of a loss. Mississippi State's going to finish. They're going to finish maybe worse. They're going to be a bottom 2 or 3 team in the SEC for sure.
Yeah.
There's a clear pecking order for those 3 teams, and Florida's got the most upside for this loss to not look bad as the season progresses.
True.
ASU's got the biggest downside for this loss to look horrible as the season progresses. And SMU, it's kind of neutral, right? Like the better Baylor does, better it looks. I mean, SMU should have that game should have not even fucking gone into overtime. SMU is going to look back at this as a game that they just beat themselves. Like they gave it away on a silver platter.
Yeah,
which is also the biggest difference is SMU can like blame themselves for this game. ASU just got beat and got beat by a team that's maybe going to win 3 or 4 games this year. And this is going to be one of them. So, yeah, a clear pecking order 1, 2, 3, I think, for those.
Hey, forks up, baby. Forks up. That's all I got for college football this week, Noah, before we get into our picks tomorrow. Do you got anything else for the AP Top 25 or anything college football related?
No, that's about it before we get to our we got a fun slate. We got a fun slate tomorrow.
Fun slate. Yeah. Noah was in the lab and he put together arguably the best slate of the year so far. Arguably, but anyway. Well, that's all we got for college football. Noah, you down to take a quick break and then we'll break down the NFL?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Before we take a break, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Helps us out a lot more than you know. I'm the Brofict one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll be right back. Good.
Yes, sir.
3, 2. And we are back. What's up, DGens? Bro for 20AJ here with the Money Train Noah, here to break down NFL Week 1, Noah. Week 1 of football is in the bag. We only got 17 more weeks until playoffs. We need to enjoy every moment we can. You ready to hop into this?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, Noah. Let's go ahead and start off with our season opener, Thursday night football. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles on banner night. Cowboys win 20-24. In a pretty solid game, you know what I mean? A game that saw the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, look a lot more prepared, a lot more put together, an offense that really ran well, a defense that didn't look completely incompetent, that maybe was missing, like, I don't know, a young star pass rusher or something to maybe help out on the defensive side. Maybe they look for one in the draft this year. I don't know. If they could have had one, this defense might look half competent. But Cowboys didn't look bad, and that was my biggest takeaway from this game. Was Dak looked solid, 21 for 34, 188 yards, no interception, so we'll take that. Didn't really help out with touchdowns either, but I mean, not a bad game. CeeDee Lamb was CeeDee Lamb yet again, and those drop balls at the end of the game definitely hurt and just very uncharacteristic, but his back had to have been hurting because he was the only thing really working on that offense.
I disagree with that, but yeah, CD 3 drops. That's not something you're going to see very often out of him. Cowboys could have had an opportunity to win that game.
Yeah.
They very well could. They were completely in that game. Probably helped a lot that Jalen Carter was out, but that run game for Dallas looked good. They put a lot of effort into rebuilding this offensive line.
Yeah.
And Javonte Williams looked pretty decent in the backfield.
He did.
I expect he's going to be the clear-cut running back one after Miles Sanders had one long run, then a very costly fumble.
Yeah.
As well. I expect we're going to see a heavy dose of Javonte Williams, and I think the Cowboys are going to get back to a lot of that Cowboys of 4 or 5 years ago and really pounding the rock on the ground. And I think Javonte Williams, if you drafted him in fantasy, I'm kind of jealous. I wish I did because I think he's going to have a pretty nice season. He's going to get probably a lot of carries, a lot of work. And, Dak looked decent. Pickens was a little bit quiet, but I don't think that's he's going to have good games. And that Eagles defense was my other kind of takeaway from this. They didn't look great. And I don't know how much that's because Jalen Carter was out the entire game after spitting on Dak.
Which is wild. I mean, wild way to start off your season. Just let me go ahead, spit on Dak. And I mean, maybe Dak spat first, allegedly, from the video that was released.
Oh, he did. But
he did.
Dak spit on the ground, and then Jalen Carter spit on Dak.
And so that's an ejection. And NFL did come out there fining him like $59,000, and they are counting that game since he did not play a snap as the suspension, so he will be available. But also, that'll make him available against the Chiefs this week, which you really think the NFL is going to give up a marquee matchup like that? Come on.
I don't have a problem with that. If
I don't either.
If you land on a one-game suspension, I mean, the guy didn't play a single snap because he got ejected before a snap was played. So I think that's I'm fine with that, whatever. But can't be doing that. Just can't be doing that. And again, biggest takeaways from this game was Dallas's offense looked better than I thought they would. Defense looked okay. I don't think it's anything to write home about. I have questions about Philly's secondary.
Yeah, that looked rough.
They did not look good. They did not look good, and Dallas got quite a bit of penetration in the run game. Again, could be in big part to Jalen Carter not playing a single snap in that game. Really opened up Dallas's playbook and allowed them to adjust and be a little bit more run heavy. But going to be an interesting thing to watch, though, if Philly's secondary doesn't step it up. They could get torched a little bit in the pass game this year.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Noah, because that was very noticeable too, the way Dallas was able to run the ball on that Phillies defense. And, maybe that's something that offensive coordinators are going to kind of keep in mind, like, hey, let's look for Jalen Carter to be taking a breather or something on the sideline, and then let's just run the ball up the gut and try to steal some extra yards or something. I don't know, but that looked interesting. Saquon looked good. I mean, this Eagles team, like the offense looked fine. It looked a lot like last year again, just maybe a weaker defense.
Yeah, and Saquon, he played okay. Wasn't a phenomenal game by Saquon by any means. A.J. Brown was non-existent. He did say himself he was only about 75% going into that game.
Yeah.
Which would explain why he wasn't getting... I mean, he was playing full amount of snaps.
He was in there a lot, yeah.
But if he was only 75%, maybe he wasn't getting the jump off the ball, the separation that he normally would. I don't know. Cowboys couldn't really stop Jalen Hurts running the ball was kind of the big knock on their defense. And ultimately what did him in. But they held Philly to 24 points. And, got to talk about the weather delay a little bit with over an hour weather delay and then only 3 points being scored total in the second half. You wonder if that had a factor. What a hit on the under on that game.
Yeah, seriously, what a hit.
I thought that was dead in the water, and then all of a sudden, the under hits. I'm like, okay,
everyone did, and then hour weather delay.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Philly going to Arrowhead this week, and that ought to be a fun one.
That ought to be. And the Chiefs coming in after not a great trip down to Brazil, Noah. Next game, our Friday night game. Chiefs, Chargers, take this one 27-21. I put tinfoil hat on here, Noah. We're going to go some conspiracy here. I think this is a Harbaugh clone. I don't think that was Harbaugh on the sideline for Brazil. I think maybe he's not allowed in Brazil, and so they had to send a double or something, because Harbaugh doesn't call pass plays. He doesn't let his quarterback air the ball downfield and look like an MVP candidate. And, 25 for 34, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's not a Harbaugh-coached quarterback stat line. So I'm thinking they've replaced Harbaugh, but just kept the name, image, and likeness. And so they're paying his contract as NIL, actually. And he's on a beach somewhere in Aruba.
All right. That's a take. No, they ran a lot of fucking play action. They ran a lot of fucking play action, though. It wasn't just...
No, I know, but...
clean drop back passing plays. It was a lot of pre-snap movement, a lot of play action, and the Chiefs were confused.
Yeah, that defense... The defense never looked like it could get set. Never looked like they got into a groove like the Chargers did at all.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, we're going to see the Chargers revert back to a lot more of a run-heavy team. I thought even though Omarion Hampton stat-wise didn't look great, eye test-wise looked really great, and I think they're going to continue to feed him the ball throughout the season. Herbert, really nice game. Also, I think the Chiefs probably came in with a game plan like, we don't really need to cover Quentin Johnston because he can't catch the ball. And what did Quentin Johnston do? He ran some really nice routes, got some separation, and caught the damn ball.
Yeah.
What a hell of a game for him. And then Chargers might be dangerous because Keenan Allen looked good. Allen looked good. I know him and Herbert do have chemistry from when he was with the Chargers last, and you combine all that, and you got Ladd McConkey in there too. This Chargers offense could be pretty lethal this year, so something to keep an eye on. And the Chiefs, I don't even know where to stand on that. Right, it's regular season. We'll see what happens, but I think they're in serious jeopardy of starting 0-2.
Yeah, going up against the Eagles this week. And my biggest takeaway about the Chiefs was besides the fact that the refs were nowhere, like that storyline died today. On Friday, I think that the refs are on the Chiefs' side and everything like that. Considering the reading of the rule of, well, it was an open hand slapped and not a closed fist, and that's why what's his name is still in the game after hitting Travis Kelce. But
well, according to the NFL rulebook, that is the right call. He's still got a 15-yard penalty for it. It's just not an objection because it's not a punch.
I get it. It's dumb as hell. Anyway,
the NFL rulebook has plenty of rules that are dumb as hell. So.
I know. But the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like they didn't. Like I like watching them this year. I was like, oh, they didn't get better. They didn't get worse. They just kind of stayed the same as last year. You know, it reminded me very much of watching them in the playoffs, watching them in the Super Bowl, watching them all regular season. You know, they're going to do enough, but it's whether that defense can hold up, and the defense couldn't hold up. And so the offense, it was the same Chiefs team that we've seen the last couple of years, Noah, and I think the NFL's wised up to it. And I don't know if Patrick Mahomes can put this team on his back and save them at this point, but
well,
long season, obviously, but it's just it was the same. It was just the same stuff over and over again.
Well, and if you remember towards last year, the Packers were the only team to put up over 24.
Yeah,
or put up 24 or more on the Chiefs in a single game until the Super Bowl. Gives up 20. They give up 27 week one. That's got to be really concerning if you're a Chiefs fan.
Yeah,
because. Yeah, last year, you know, they won a shit ton of games, win the division, they go to the Super Bowl, and the only two games that they gave up over 24 points was the one regular season game against the Packers and then the Super Bowl. This offense is not that great. They're ever since Matt Nagy took over, and that's probably one of the biggest issues. Is Matt Nagy's their play caller. But the offense is not explosive. They're aged. You get some more chief-on-chief crime here with Travis Kelce taking out Xavier Worthy for an unknown amount of time, which could be as much as the entire season if he has a torn labrum. I haven't seen anything on that. I think we're seeing the beginning of the decline. Not the beginning of the decline, and it's hard to say like 2 seasons ago was the beginning of the decline for the Chiefs, but it kind of was, and then they still went back to the Super Bowl. But I don't know if we're going to see the magic from the Chiefs this year. It feels like this is going to be the year where they maybe have an 11-7, 10-6 season. Somebody else potentially wins the division, and then they're a first round exit in the playoffs. And I say maybe because, again, we do always say, we have said for 3 or 4 years, this is the Chiefs division until it's not the Chiefs division. This is the first time the Chargers have beat the Chiefs since Justin Herbert has come into the league. So
yeah, like I'm not, breaking glass, for emergency or anything like that. I'm just, it's like, oh, okay. I'm starting to see some of the things that were concerning last year that are creeping over to this year. We might need to keep an eye on them, but it is the Chiefs division until it's not.
Right.
And that field was reportedly shit anyway, but both teams played on it. So.
Oh, that field, huh? Don't get me started. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not taking the fucking bait on that.
Oh, come on. I worked so hard on that one. I was waiting for the right moment, Noah.
No. Let's move on.
Damn it. Fine. Moving on to the Sunday slate, Noah. I'm proud of you. You've matured. You didn't take that. 2 years ago, you would have taken that bait and ran with it for the next 5 minutes. But Buccaneers and the Falcons. Buccaneers come in and they win this one 23-20. I actually went back and watched some of this tape today, and the Buccaneers, Baker just had a bad game. I mean, there were a lot of drop balls, a lot of bad throws from Baker, and don't get me wrong, the Falcons defense was playing fine and they had good coverage. And I think the Falcons defense maybe, kind of the key here, but I mean, Baker looked good towards the back half of the game. Emike Egbuka getting the job done when he needed to. And this Buccaneers team, I think, is going to win the South, no problem. Falcons, on the other hand, I didn't have a problem with it. Michael Penix looked fine, 27 for 42, with a touchdown, no interceptions. I mean, I'll take it. I feel bad for people who drafted Brian Robinson Jr. in fantasy again, if we're going to be completely honest. And
anybody who drafted Brian Robinson Jr. in fantasy is an idiot, though, because like this year you shouldn't have.
Yeah, and Kyle Pitts. But anyway,
he's also Buccaneers not on either of these teams.
I am sorry, and I'm losing my mind now. It's been a long day. I'm sorry. I'm confusing players. Anyway, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, Brian Robinson Jr. plays for the San Francisco 49ers now.
Yes, he does.
No, I thought the Falcons looked promising in this one. Biggest takeaways for me from this one, Emeka Egbuka, I think, is definitely going to be, if he's not already at, give it till week 5, week 6, he's going to be wide receiver number 1 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's for sure.
I know Chris Godwin is supposed to come back from injury about that same time frame, but I think it's going to be enough games where Emeka Egbuka is going to solidify himself, especially with an aging Godwin and aging Mike Evans. He's going to be the top target for this Tampa Bay offense. Bucky Irving, I think, is going to be great out of the backfield. Tampa should be decent. I think you saw, especially in the first half, some growing pains from losing Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
And hardly the worst growing pains from losing an offensive coordinator out of teams we saw week 1. But Tampa gets the job done. Penix had a decent game. Atlanta had a decent game overall. Just couldn't quite get it done. We're very, very close. If you watch the game, this could have gone either way. This is a coin flip game.
Would Kirk Cousins have won them that game?
Man, I don't know what the fuck Kirk Cousins looks like nowadays, so I'm going to say yes, he could have. It also could have been worse. I'm really not sure.
Could have.
But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of tight games in the NFC South. I think we're going to see a lot of tight games throughout the whole season with these divisional matchups, but I'm not going to jump too much on it. I mean, just from an overreaction standpoint, week 1, these may be the top 2 teams in the NFC South, but there was a lot of fucking season to play.
Yeah, a lot of season to play. Let's move on to this was, I don't know, it was kind of boring. Kind of a snoozer of a game. Bengals and the Brownies. Bengals take this one 17-16. I mean, the Bengals won before week 4, so that is a positive step in the right direction for the Cincinnati Bengals, Noah. I
love that win percentage graph.
I know, right? Like, they could have had it, and then no.
Boop. No, slow start for the Bengals again, as we are accustomed to seeing weeks 1 and 2 from them every single year. Offense did not look overly impressive. My biggest takeaway in this one is the Browns looked competent.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's going to lead them to another probably last place in the division where they win 5 or 6 games this year, and they're not going to be drafting number 1 overall. I can almost guarantee you that. But here's the thing. The Browns are just destined for a 5-6 win season. And
they are.
We're going to be in a lot of games. Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to be in a lot of games, and they're going to lose a lot of close games. And that's kind of what I got on the Browns. I don't really have a ton of takeaways from the Bengals. I mean, defense actually looked okay, surprisingly.
Yeah, very surprisingly.
And the offense looked a little sluggish.
Very, very sluggish. I mean,
I think by week 4, this could all flip-flop. So
yeah, it will. I mean, and it does for the Bengals, but it's just, I don't know. Like, it's so frustrating because we know how good this Bengals team can be. We know how good Joe Burrow is. We know how good Jamar T, et cetera, et cetera. Like, and they just make us wait for it. They make us wait for it every year. And we want to see that explosion. We want to see them put up the 50 points, 35, 40 points. And They just don't give it to us, which is fine. Take your time, I guess, but nice to see them win a game before week 4 at least.
Yeah, well, especially in a game where Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins all kind of underperformed. Chase Brown was fine. I don't want to say severely underperformed, but that whole offense didn't look great. And I don't know if that's kudos to the Browns or them just starting slow again. I was surprised with the performance by the Bengals defense. It was better than I thought. Yeah. But I also thought the Browns offense looked competent. The Browns overall looked kind of competent is the word I keep using for them.
It's a good word.
I don't think they're going to be by any means great. And we'll see what happens with the Bengals if they can improve on either side of the ball.
Yeah. And my last note, along with the Browns looking competent, I guess I was shocked by that defense with the whole Myles Garrett situation. Like, I know Myles is there and everything, but I don't know. Like, you always just think of that defense as Myles Garrett, but the coverage looked good on the secondary. I mean,
two sacks?
Yeah, something like that. And so the Bengals still need to work on that O-line, but when the fuck don't they need to work on that O-line?
It's supposed to be better this year, allegedly.
I mean, the fact that they only let Myles Garrett get 2 sacks, yeah, that's an improvement. I'll give him credit where credit's due. Sweet. Let's move on, Noah, because it's week 1 and we already have our first head coach on the hot seat. And first of all, shout out to Boomers and the new nickname for Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. I know that was floating around the internet a little bit, and I absolutely love it. Dolphins take a shellacking, belt to ass from the Colts, 33-8. 33-8, Noah. Indiana Jones going 22 for 29, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, looking solid. Tua Tagovailoa was in there, 14 for 23, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Zach Wilson played some snaps and didn't do really anything of note, like most of his career. I was pounding this drum. No, I was pounding this drum preseason coming in that, listen, Daniel Jones, you got him a good running back. You got him a solid O-line. You've got him
I thought you were talking about the other drum.
Huh? Oh, I'll get on that drum in a second. This game was just a big drum game for me. So shout out to them.
I guess I don't remember that as much. I don't remember you being as high on the Colts as I do remember you being very, 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 very down on the Dolphins and saying they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
It was I talked about it during our division breakdown, but it was a big topic of conversation on my Friday shows with the Colts and Daniel Jones and everything. And I was saying the guy just needs a running back and a wide receiver. He got paid from the Giants for a reason. You drop him into Indianapolis and you give the Colts a half decent quarterback that actually knows how to play quarterback in the NFL. Good things are going to happen. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Colts are, playoff bound or anything like that. They played very well against a very bad, mismanaged team in the Miami Dolphins, where it seems like that magic from Mike McDaniels is lost. Like, Noah, I mean, the Dolphins came out and kind of were playing defeated already. Like, there was, I that's the best way I can put it. Like, usually, there's those, first snap or first drive jitters, you know what I mean? And a team doesn't look all the way there because it's the first week of the season and, maybe jitters are a little high, but you didn't even get that out of the Dolphins. You just got sloppy football all the way around the field. I mean, every phase of the game was just bad from the Dolphins. Starts with Mike McDaniels and the fact that, and we've seen it time and time again in the NFL, these gimmicky coaches can come in and do their stuff as long as you're winning. And they ain't winning. And the whole Tyreek Hill issue, his new allegations and charges coming out. I mean, this team's a mess.
Yeah,
This team is an absolute mess.
Yeah, that's something we won't get into.
No, not getting into, but it is. I do think it's one of those outside distractions that does affect the team in a way.
Yeah, I was going to say, only thing I'll say on that is I don't think that's going to amount to anything. But
ditto.
We don't need to dive into that. Yeah, Miami looked bad, just really
bad.
Bad.
I would argue they looked the worst this week.
They're certainly a top 3 candidate. Yeah, it was not a good showing. Colts came out, did everything they needed to. It was fine. Tua looks like fucking hot garbage. I mean, when you win the turnover battle by 3 or 4, you should beat a team like with the final score like this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. God, shame on me for having Miami going 8-9 this season. AJ, I know you were saying that was one of the teams we were the most off on.
Yeah.
And after 1 week of seeing Miami out there on the field, I'm flip flopping. I'm jumping onto your boat here, because mine's sinking already.
So I'm at that point now where I'm having that conversation with myself. What happens first? Mike McDaniels gets fired or Tyreek gets traded? And I'm thinking Tyreek gets traded before McDaniels gets fired.
But like Tyreek's past his prime now. Like I
don't disagree. I don't think you're getting more than a 5th or a 6th round pick for him. Like you're not getting a top 3 pick, a top 4 pick.
Well, maybe they can sucker some. Maybe if they trade him early on in the season, they can sucker somebody into something after this off the field stuff settles down.
Yeah,
but this is so crazy too, because this is a team that's like less than 2 years removed from scoring 70 fucking points in a game.
Yeah.
And
fastest team on turf. I mean, like they.
Yeah. The track stars have fallen from grace, and you nailed it on the head with Mike McDaniel, like the gimmicky type of coach, right? It's great when you're winning, but people are going to turn on you real fucking quick when things aren't working out well. Like, I guess kudos to him for not ever changing his attitude and everything, and just being his authentic self. And people love it when you're winning games. And then when you're not winning games and you're coming out and saying the shit that you do, your fan base is going to turn on you so fucking fast.
Quick. Oh my God. The last time I saw this many fans so quickly after a game call for a coach's head was after Ryan Day lost to Michigan last year.
Yeah, and then they won the national championship.
And then they won the But again, I don't think the Dolphins are going on a Super Bowl run.
Difference here is like, Mike McDaniels comes out and he always has this attitude like, oh, I don't really give a fuck, like whatever, like little emo boy attitude. And people were loving it when the Dolphins were winning. And when you're losing more than 2/3 of your game and you're having that same attitude like, oh, I don't really care, whatever, it's so nonchalant and all this, and being like sassy, sarcastic with the reporters, like, it's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's a bad look. Not that it's a great look to begin with, but people are okay and they laugh at it and think it's funny and good when you're winning games. But then you stop winning games and, it's not good. And
no.
I have not a lot of hope for the Dolphins this season. The Colts, I don't know. I do have something interesting here, AJ, just because staying in the division that the Colts are in. The Texans have fallen to the 3rd best odds to win that division betting-wise.
After one game?
Yep, after one game. After the Texans lose 14-9 to the Rams, the Colts won. The Jaguars won, although the Colts played Miami and the Jaguars played Carolina, who are two not great teams. The Texans have fallen to the 3rd best odds to win the division. So if you have any faith in the Texans and hope that they did unravel a bit last year, but still won the division. I think this is, and I only bring that up because I think it's a great, great opportunity to catch a division winner bet at the best odds you're going to catch it at.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit of an overreaction to this game, and let's just go ahead and jump into it. Texans-Rams. Texans lose, as you said, 9-14 here. Not the best showing offensively by Stroud, 19 for 2,788 yards with an interception. Run game was okay. Nick Chubb and Stroud did most of the work there. Couldn't really get anything else offensively going. Rams defense looked like it picked up where it left off last season as one of the better defenses that matured into one of the better defenses in the NFL towards the end of last year. And it looks like that is going to be just fine. Matthew Stafford, I'm chalking this up. And I mean, I know they won and everything, and he threw 21 for 29 with 245 yards and a touchdown. It's not a bad stat line by any means, but he still looks rusty. You know what I mean? That time off and everything, it still looked like he needs to bang out that rust a little bit. I think he'll look a lot better in the next couple of weeks.
I don't know that that's going to be the case.
Ooh.
I think the Rams might win this division in the NFC West, but they're going to have to win it with a lot of low-scoring games like this.
Yeah.
They're going
to defense.
Because I don't think this offense for the Rams is going to be overly explosive. I think Stafford's beyond his prime. He's dealing with back injuries. He can still deliver the ball just fine.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he's going to be looking like Drew Brees here real soon, where he's going to be forced into retirement because he just can't get the ball downfield. You remember the last probably 2 years of Drew Brees' career.
Yeah.
Great completion percentage, great touchdown to interception ratio still, but it was like they got in trouble because he couldn't air the ball out more than 15 yards downfield. I don't think Stafford's at that point yet, but I'm saying
not that bad yet, yeah.
I think it's going to progress to that, and I think Stafford's going to be forced into retirement here in the next year or two by just not being able to physically I think mentally all that great. I think Stafford's body's starting to give out on him.
I could see that. I can see that.
He is beyond 35 now, I think. I think he's 36, 37 years old.
Yeah.
So no shame in that, whatever. But I just don't expect a lot from the Rams offense. I saw some stat where there have been 5 wins over the last 4 years for teams scoring 14 points or less in the NFL. The Rams are 3-1 in said games.
That's awesome. Matthew Stafford's 37, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Rams are 3-1 in said games. I think Vikings are 1-1, and then there's one other team that has a win. So there's been 5 total wins over the last 4 or 5 years for teams scoring 14 points or less. Rams happen to have 3 of those.
Go Rams! That's some Rams football right there. Anything else on that game?
I thought Texans defense looked good.
Yeah.
Which I expected them to. Their offense is oddly their offense is the question mark now.
It could be one of those things where we did see kind of a slump with Stroud, like a small sophomore slump last year, but then again with all the injuries that it was on offense and everything, that kind of attributed to it. So maybe we're just seeing a little hangover of that, but
they didn't really rebuild that wide receiver room.
No, not at all.
As though. Dalton Schultz is getting older. That offensive line is not quite as good as it was. It's still decent, but they put so much effort into building up that defense that they kind of let the offense coast and let some guys and let some guys go. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the Texans navigate that. I think they're still going to be a decent team. I do think it is definitely worth placing a wager on them, at least personally.
Sure.
Right now to win this division, sitting as a slight third. It's real narrow between Indy, Jacksonville, and Houston. And I'm like, this is probably the worst division in the NFL, top to bottom. Obviously, nobody's worrying about Tennessee right now, which if you really want to fuck around and find out, just maybe throw a little flyer on Tennessee. Because I do think this division's probably more wide open than any, but I think at the end of the day, Houston comes out on top in the division, and they dropped all the way down to third in the odds. So fuck it. If you're going to, this is probably the best odds you're going to get on Houston to
true. Or they drop one more game.
I'm not worried about them.
Fair. I'm not either.
I think this Rams defense looks like it took a step up from last year, and it's going to be pretty lethal. But I also think the Rams offense is going to be their biggest crutch.
I can see that. That's kind of the tale of both teams, though. Defense is going to be solid. Offense may need some help.
But I think Houston's offense can figure it out.
I don't know. Sean McVay's just an evil genius, though, bro. I think him and Stafford are going to be able to get that shit figured out.
He is, but I just worry that the Rams are going to be limited on what they can do on offense because of Stafford's physical ability. And I think this defense is going to carry them to quite a few wins this year, but that offense is going to be kind of the thing that holds them back in tough games against tough opponents.
And do you think Devontae is ready for porn star Jimmy to take over control again if he needs to?
I don't think Devontae's going to be that much of a factor this year, if I'm being completely honest.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, you ready for the next game?
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go ahead and stay in this division. Panthers take an L here, 10-26. Trevor Lawrence, 19 for 30, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That is a Trevor Lawrence stat line if I've ever seen one there, Noah. Bryce Young, 18 for 35, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 51.4 completion percentage. Chuba Hubbard getting the work in. Travis Etienne really getting it done, really stepping it up. It seemed like the Jaguars might have, been looking to almost take a step back on him with that Tank Bigsby move, but hey, he got the snaps and he did the performance. So shout out to him. I'm not going to lie. No, I didn't watch much of this game. I could care less. Neither of these two teams are going to be doing much. The parts I did watch, it was like, okay, cool. The Jaguars are in control and we're just going to do that. So I didn't think either quarterback looked particularly well. I didn't think either offense looked particularly good. It was just kind of a shite game.
Yeah, this one was a weird one with an hour and a half weather delay in the middle.
That's another one, yeah.
Again, which, as we've talked about with a couple of other games tonight, you never really know what kind of impact that has. Jaguars looked really great before the weather delay.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence looked really great. And then he looked not so great after they came back onto the field. Travis Etienne looked great after they came back out on the field. They trade away Tank Bigsby to Philadelphia after this game. I know Jacksonville did draft 2 rookie running backs this year. So there was a lot of conversation about what this was going to look like. There was a lot of speculation they were going to phase out Etienne and maybe Bigsby as well. And I think they might be keeping Etienne, and Bigsby's gone, but I think those 2 rookies are gonna, as the season progresses, work their way in. To that. Bryce Young distracted by a fucking scoreboard mini game. That was a big story in this one.
It was.
Man, I don't fucking know. Like,
that was funny.
I thought Carolina was going to take steps forward. T-Mac looked fucking phenomenal. He's going to have a hell of a fucking season. Not Jacksonville. Carolina's going to get better as the season goes on, and they build some chemistry there. Again, Jacksonville got out to a hot start, and they did like nothing afterwards. So I'm not really putting much weight behind this game.
No. Especially with that weather delay, just throws everything off. And
these are going to be 2 teams that probably don't make the playoffs. Is my take.
No, I would completely agree with that take, Noah. I think that's a good take that will not end up on freezing cold takes. So, let's talk about a team that we might see in the playoffs.
They both win their divisions.
That'd be hilarious. Let's talk about a team that might play the playoffs, Noah, because it's Overreaction Monday. We're going to overreact here. Tuesday, shit. Let's go to Raiders and the Patriots. Raiders come away with this one 20-13. Geno Smith, Drake May throwing. I mean, Vrabel made him throw the ball a lot. 30 for 46, 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Huh?
Always a bad sign when your quarterback's throwing it 45 plus times.
Yeah, well, when your running back's getting, 27 yards, 15 yards, and then your quarterback is third in rushing at 11 yards, that's also not a great sign whatsoever. That O-line maybe needs some work.
Numbers, though. The Patriots weren't even trying to run the fucking ball.
Which doesn't make any sense, especially with Vrabel. I thought this would have been a very, maybe he doesn't trust that O-line to run block enough. I don't know. It's wild, but... Yeah. And I mean, Drake May throwing the ball that much, you're going to have a lot of incompletions. You're going to eventually get an interception. And so 30 for 46 with 1 interception, I'm fine with that. If you throw the ball almost 50 times and only give it away once. Run game looked abysmal. Defense looked fine. It's hard to get excited about this Patriots team. I think this Patriots team in the next couple of years will be, starting to trend back upwards to where they once were, but we're still in that rebuild process. The Patriots committed to a full rebuild, and we're in the middle of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that are likely going to have top 10 picks this year.
Yes.
Somebody had to win this game. Patriots were favored by 3. Vegas. You look at the win totals preseason. Patriots were over under, I think, 7.5.
Yeah.
Vegas was at 5.5. I think you got to be a little bit more impressed with Vegas right now. But I think by the time we get past the halfway point of the season, I think it's going to be a situation where the Raiders might not be any better than they are right now, and the Patriots will continue to improve. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I would agree.
Ashton Genty, obviously, not the best game on paper, but I think he got some decent work. He'll continue to improve, and the Raiders have the benefit of having a veteran quarterback there in Geno Smith. Would have been interesting if Amari Cooper didn't decide he was just going to fucking retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was going to help out this wide receiver room a little bit. Not the case. Whatever. Vegas wins. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton of takeaways from this game. I'm just going to continue to keep an eye on these teams and see how these seasons progress.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That Pete Carroll Geno connection is going to be interesting to follow all year, because I've loved that connection since he was with the Seahawks. I think that's going to be good there. We'll keep it moving, Noah. Let's. I don't get to do this often, so let's talk about my Arizona Cardinals and our win this week. 20 to 13. Cardinals take this one against the Saints. Game was never really,
You're far too excited about this for a 7-point win.
Again, no, I don't get a lot of these. You call them wins. I don't get a lot of those, so I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Did we make Spencer Rattler look like a competent quarterback for most of this game? Yes. Was that bad? Yes.
Worried about.
That is exactly what I'm worried about. That offense, that defense is going to be keeping me up at night, I think. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. Budda Baker does his job all the time. I'm not worried about him. I don't know, man. This defense just needs work. Defense was an issue last year. It's going to be an issue again this year. And from what I saw on our offense, I don't know if we're going to be able to do a lot of this. Luckily, again, we do have the benefit of having a pretty easy first 4 games to set us up pretty well for the season. Will that help in the long run? Probably not.
It's going to be a rude awakening when Green Bay comes to town, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's especially with Micah Parsons now and seeing how our O-line played. That's not good. Positive takeaway, though. Kyler Murray ran the football, and Kyler Murray ran the football well, and I liked what I saw out of Murray. I truly believe that we saw some serious development and some maturity, and the way he read, the way he would get out of the pocket but wouldn't just scramble and run immediately, and he would try to push the ball downfield when he could. Shout out Marvin Harrison Jr. 6 for 5, 71 yards and a tutty. I'll take that all day long, and I think we're going to continue to see more from him. Trey McBride, a dog. James Conner, Trey Benson, dogs. I like a lot of the pieces on this offense. I'm worried about the O-line a little bit and that defense. And I was worried when we got rid of Gardeck in the offseason because he's been providing us great pressure off the end. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I think this Cardinals team has a lot to be optimistic about if you ignore the offensive line and the defense.
Yeah.
If you just look at the offensive skill position players, there's a lot to be optimistic about. Hey, they covered the spread. They're 1-0 ATS. Did they only cover it by half a point? Yes, but they covered. The thing that makes me nervous here, AJ, for Arizona is I've said it a couple times. I think the Saints have a real chance of going 0-17 this season.
Yeah.
And to only beat them by 7, granted it was in their building, so It's fine. Week one's always weird. But I wanted more out of the Cardinals. I didn't get more out of them. I got a game where the Saints actually were in it into the fourth quarter, which is a little concerning. I don't really have any takeaways for the Saints. I mean, yeah, Rattler looked okay. I don't think that's a testament to him. I think it's just the Cardinals defense was they looked
underwhelming.
They looked a little slow and lazy, and still he couldn't put up more than 13 points. So whatever. I'm not really concerned about Spencer Rattler. I have concerns about the Cardinals. The Saints, I have no concerns about because I think they're just going to continue losing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Let's keep it moving, Noah. Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Jets. Steelers steal this one 34-32. Aaron, huh?
What a fun game.
Dude, such a fun game.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk that Steelers and Jets would have been a high-scoring shootout? Not us. That's for damn sure. Aaron Rodgers turning back the clock a little bit, 22 for 30, 244, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Justin Fields finally looking like he may have found where he's meant to be. 16 for 22 for 218, 1 touchdown. Also rushed for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns for himself. And honestly, like, I know Aaron Rodgers played well, and we'll get to the Jets to the Steelers in a moment, but that was probably my biggest takeaway from watching this game, Noah, was watching Justin Fields, watching him play well, watching him succeed, and all I could think of was, holy shit, the Bears are just so bad. I mean, how, like, and I understand, like, there was growing pains with Justin Fields and the situations going on with the Bears, but like, watching this performance from Justin Fields is like, oh, that's the reason he got drafted. That's why everyone thought he could be an NFL quarterback. And maybe it's development. Maybe he's been around a while now and he finally understands it. But shout out to the Bears for fumbling yet again. Justin Fields looks like he's, even if they don't win a lot of games, he looks like he's going to perform overall a lot better than he has in past years.
Yeah, this was a confusing ass game. AJ, if I told you outside of the, if we take away the primetime games and we're just looking at the Sunday slate minus Sunday night, and I told you, oh, this is going to be the highest scoring game of the of Sunday, what would you have said to me?
Give me the under 32.5.
Well, it was 38. It was 38 and a half. But yeah, this was the lowest over-under total of the entire week in the NFL, and this was the second highest scoring game.
Wild.
Aaron Rodgers just decided he was going to look like MVP Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields had a great game. These were two defenses that are supposed to be top 10 defenses in the league, and they both were just getting carved up.
Looks like ass, dude.
In different ways. I mean, the Jets just running the ball all over the Steelers, which I guess don't throw it if you got T.J. Watt just pinning his ears back to pass rush. But Jets, I wonder. I'm like, oh, man. Is Aaron Glenn fucking up Robert Saleh's beautiful defense that he built for the New York Jets? And Aaron Rodgers got Robert Saleh fired as head coach? It's a conspiracy theory a little bit. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying Robert Saleh, another defensive coach, built up this beautiful defense in New York, and then another defensive coach takes over. You'd assume, oh, it should be pretty decent, right?
Wow.
And then they get just carved up by Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, had a projected 8.7 fantasy points this week. That was the projected fantasy points. How many did he actually get? Like 26 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had fucking MVP Raj out there just carving it up. Weird-ass fucking game. I'm going to hold off judgment on both of these teams until I see them play at least another game or two, because this was a weird fucking game, and I did not think this was going to be a high-scoring shootout.
No.
This was the last thing on my bingo card for this week was Jets Steelers being a high scoring shootout.
Yeah, no, I would have lost a lot of money if you and I would have bet that. But
we talked about this, and I said, "Oh, I was like, I wonder what the odds are for no offensive touchdowns in this game."
Oh, we did look for that. That's right.
But I didn't take it because it was at 45-1, and I wanted it at 200-1. But it was only at 45-1, so I said, "Oh no, that's weird. That seems too low. I'm not taking that." And I'm glad the book saved me from that one.
Yeah. Oh, they saved you all right. They saved you.
If the book hung this at 200-1, I would have put a whole unit on it, and I'd be out a whole unit on that. But the book decided they wanted to be stingy and hold this at 45-1. And thank you, Sportsbook. That's one of the few times I've ever said that. But thank you, Sportsbook, for hanging that line at a place I didn't want to touch it.
Shout out to the Sportsbooks. Let's keep it going, Noah. New York Giants, Washington Commanders, 6-21. Commanders take the win at home. They're 1-0, and let's call a duck, Noah. Russell Wilson is washed, has been washed for the past 4 years, and I think people are finally starting to wake up to it. With that being said, it does sound like Dable will be going back to Russell Wilson this next week, trying to let Jackson Dart sit a little bit, but it sounds like that noise is getting a lot louder for Jackson Dart to be taking over sooner rather than later. Just skipping over Jameis Winston, which I think is really rude. But
I was just going to say, you ain't got to rush Jackson Dart in. You just...
No.
Oh, my God.
Let Jameis Winston eat a W for a week, throw him out there one more week, and then Jackson Dart can play. But...
yeah, Russell Wilson fucking sucks.
Dude, he's done. I've been saying this. I've been pounding this drum, too, for the last 4 years. Like, this guy sucks. Like, he's lost it. He's not as fast as he was. What made him special isn't as there anymore. It's like, yes, he's still a decent quarterback, still a good leader and all of that, but he doesn't have anything else left.
He doesn't even inspire the fucking locker room. If you're looking for inspiration in the locker room, Jameis is going to do what Russell can do 10 fucking fold. And so if you need a quarterback to go out there and play shit football, you might as well have Jameis out there. He's at least going to have the guys ready to run through a brick wall. Russell Wilson's the most boring-ass motherfucker. Nobody cares about this old-ass bitch anymore.
No.
Like, dude needs to be out of the fucking... Dude needs to be a backup somewhere. Maybe not out of the league. But, yeah, Russell Wilson's fucking terrible. Dable's going to get fired before the season's over.
I don't think so.
I do. And
I think if there's any seat that's not hot, it's Dable.
How?
Huh?
How?
Because he's still here after the whole Danny Dimes incident. He's still here after Saquon left. And now they let him draft another quarterback.
And now he's out of excuses.
Yeah, so he's got to put Jackson Dart in. He's not going to put Jackson Dart in until ownership comes in and says, hey, we need to see the kid.
Yeah, either way. Giants are bad. Love the 51% target share from the league neighbors. He was my number one pick in fantasy, so even though he didn't have a great week one, the 51% target share, phenomenal. We love it.
That's great. We love to see that.
Yeah, but yeah, the Giants are going to be bad. They're going to be bad. They've been bad. They're going to keep being bad. There's nothing exciting. Their defense is better this year. They had Washington to 21. Their defense looked actually competent.
Yeah.
If the
Dexter Lawrence back definitely
could do anything other than go 3 and out, they might have been in this game. They play the Cowboys this week. It's going to be interesting. I think that one actually might be kind of close. But yeah, I don't know. I got nothing great to say about the Giants. And frankly, I'm at the point where I think Dable maybe needs to get fired.
Ooh.
Just
shake up completely.
It's just so weird because like ownership and the GM have been like kind of putting him in a shit position his entire time.
It's the Brown situation. That's why Stefanski still has a job.
He's also not done anything with it. Like I know, like you get dealt a shit hand, but like at some point, if you are that guy, like you got to at least do something.
Didn't the Giants make the playoffs 3 years ago? When Daniel Jones and Saquon went on that big run, and then they paid Daniel Jones.
That was before they hired Dable.
No, that was Dable.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Dable was there for the Daniel Jones incident.
Yeah, well, either way, Giants need to shake some shit up. Washington looked decent. Their offensive line looked problematic. That was the only thing that I think was holding them back. Granted, the Giants probably have one of the best defensive lines in football. Going to be interesting to see what happens here on Thursday when you get Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, and those guys pinning their ears back against this O-line. Again, I do think the Giants are a top 5 offensive or defensive line in football. So Washington's offensive line, maybe that's the case. We're going to have to see as the season plays out because if they look like they did last week and the Packers pass rush is getting to them, you could see quite a few sacks.
Yeah, we could. And Dable was hired in 2022, the year that the Giants last made the playoffs, 9-7-1, losing in the divisional to the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
And then Daniel Jones signs big contract. Saquon Barkley goes bye-bye. Yeah. And here we are with Dable. So I don't know. But yeah, Commanders looked fine to me.
I think they might miss the playoffs this year, to be honest.
Commanders. I could see that too. It wasn't
be bad, but I could see them by missing the playoffs by a game or two this year.
Yeah, or a tiebreaker or something.
Just falling a game or two short.
Fair. I will say I do love the gaslighting from the Commanders, coaching staff by saying, oh, Bill is, probably running back 4 on our depth chart, running back 5 on our depth chart. And then he goes out for 10 attempts, 82 yards and a touchdown.
Gets 13 touches and a touchdown.
Running back 4. Yeah, sure, bud. Sure. My dumbass. Granted, I can't complain about the running backs that played this year, but
I mean, Eckler got injured, but
True. Maybe Eckler doesn't get injured, and it's only 8 carries for 50 yards.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. Yeah. Running back 4, my ass, dude. My God.
I wish he got to play more than one game at U of A.
I did too. Oh,
we might have won an extra 2 games last year.
We really might have. But oh well, it happened.
It was so good the first week, and then
week 1 was so much fun, dude. That was so much fun last year.
And then he just wasn't allowed to play anymore. But
no,
that's
anyway
another story for another day.
Moving on, Noah. Let's go to another 2 more young quarterbacks in this league. Titans, Broncos. Broncos take this one 20-12. Cam Ward in his debut, 12 for 28, 112 yards, 0-0. Not terrible. Bo Nix, 25 for 40. What was Sean Payton on having Bo Nix throw the ball 40 times? 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
36 of them were screen passes. So
I mean, I know, but still, that still feels like a lot to have Bo Nix throw the football. This was another game I went back and watched because it didn't feel Cam Ward didn't. It didn't. What am I trying to say? It didn't feel like Cam Ward played as bad as it led to, or as bad as it seemed. And
not at all, my friend.
And going back and watching the tape, dude, his decision making was great. He got rid of the ball when he needed to. He ran the ball when he needed to. He scrambled when he needed to, kept the eyes downfield, and was hitting his targets. There was a shit ton of drop balls from this wide receiver room in this game. Cam Ward, he could be looking to have the season.
How many incompletions do you have?
How many incompletions? 42.9 math, Noah. 12 completions out of 28, so that'd be 16.
16, yeah. Titans had 8 drops.
Yep.
So 16 incompletions, 8 drops. 5 of those were on third or fourth down. The Titans should have won this fucking game.
They should have. They really should have.
And Denver's supposed to have a top 5 defense, and the Titans should have won this game, and Cam Ward was not phased. He was not phased. He was delivering the ball. Just because Calvin Ridley and company couldn't fucking catch anything. I don't know if you saw the clip of his dad just being pissed off and just like double hand slamming the rail.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Rightfully fucking so.
Yeah. How
8 drops, 5 of which were on third or fourth down. Like his wide receivers let him
down.
Let him down. Cam Ward played totally fine. Cam Ward played good enough to win this game against a allegedly top 5 defense. We'll see as the season goes on. Again, gonna bang the drum of like week one's weird. Like some teams either super underperform or super overperform, and you kind of get the first glimpse of it week one. But not saying Denver's gonna be shit, but I don't have super high aspirations for them this year. I think
my expectations weren't high for the Broncos going into this year, but they just dropped a lot.
I think the Broncos missed playoffs.
No doubt about it.
It's still fine, but Cam Ward, oh man, he came in and delivered. But if the rest of the team around him isn't going to be built up the way it needs to be, this team is going to still struggle to win games. But I think he's the real deal.
I do too.
I know it's only one game into his career, but he looked good. Can't help his receivers dropping all those fucking passes.
No, you really can't. And I mean, we're going to get to the Monday night game in a little bit, but that's what kind of made me go back. The Monday night game was what made me go back and watch Cam Ward's tape. Because I was like, I'm seeing a little bit of the same, but like Caleb Williams just looks worse doing it. And going back and watching it.
Cam Ward looked like a number 1 pick.
Yes.
He was
100%.
Fearless. He was fearless, delivered the balls in, had good velocity on him, all that. Accuracy
looked confident, didn't get phased.
Accuracy was not bad, and his receivers just fucking failed him.
Yeah, and I mean, so Cam Ward, I know you lost that game, but if you're listening for whatever reason, first of all, this is the worst show you could be listening to. You should be watching some tape.
He's
Second of all,
don't worry about it.
Second of all, keep your head up, kid. That was a hell of a performance for week one. I just want to preface everything I'm about to say about this game with saying this was my favorite game of the week as an NFC West fan. This was arguably my favorite game of the week. Seahawks and the 49ers. And you might be wondering, no, it's not because half of the 49ers offense got injured in that game. That is not. Huh? Yeah, they both sucked. And these are two teams that have been torturing me my entire life. And so to go sit down Sunday afternoon and watch this NFC matchup with both teams looking like absolute shit just really put a nice warm fuzzy in my heart, Noah. And it was a good week. It was a good weekend for me as a sports fan, and I don't get a lot of those. So this was awesome. Brock Purdy looked like ass. Sam Darnold saw ghost again. Shout out to Zach Charbonnet, 12 for 47. That really helped my fucking fantasy team. Christian McCaffrey, oddly enough, looked like the most healthy player on the San Francisco squad. Rushing for 69 yards. Very nice. But, I mean, shout out to, what's his name? George Kittle and Brock Purdy. Hopefully y'all recover. I think, what's his name? Kittle was just moved to the IR today, so he's going to be missing at least 4 weeks.
What did McCaffrey have? 9? We have 9 catches?
I believe it was. Yeah, 9 catches for 73 yards.
Yeah, fucking all right. I was half expecting him not even to fucking play in this game.
I thought he was going to be on a heavy pitch count. That's what I thought he was going to. That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought he was going to be on a heavy pitch count going into this one.
Yeah, oh god, this game was messy. That's what I'm landing on. Just messy. That's the word I got to use for this. Neither team looked good.
No.
Low scoring, but I don't even think either defense looked particularly good. I think it was low scoring because both offensives just looked a little bit incoherent and not great. Piss poor quarterback play from both sides. It's week one. We'll see what happens. But I'm not overly optimistic about either of these two teams. Just from a week one standpoint, NFC West, it feels like the Rams are going to run away with this division. But that's just a week one, just overreaction as we're doing. This is our overreactions show, but 1 week into the season, it just feels like the Rams are head and shoulders above the other 3 teams in this division.
Sorry. Yes. No, I agree. Noah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I zoned out there. I had to respond to a
No,
text. I
no,
missed what you
you would.
said.
I just, yeah, and again, and I'm sure that'll probably change as the season goes along. But right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
it just feels like this is the Rams division.
Absolutely. I get where you're coming from there. Cardinals did win, though. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move.
Oh, you beat the Saints.
Fuck off.
Congratulations.
Let's move on, Noah. I've been happy. You can go ahead and be happy. Tell me how great the Green Bay Packers are.
Well, I'm actually going to start on the other side of it. I think losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn has been a lot for the Lions to handle, and I think Dan Campbell's finally going to get bit by his uber aggressive play calling style and game management style. Lions couldn't do shit, and they didn't adjust. When their game plan was getting shut down early, they just did not adjust. No movement there. Yeah, this is a fun ass game. I mean, got after it early. Defense looked great. Offense looked great. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just everything looked great.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you would change about that win?
No, but my biggest takeaway, Jeff Hafley. Unfortunately, I'm going to need you to calm down a little bit. Otherwise, somebody else is going to hire you as a head coach next year. We don't want to see that. But
No.
Yeah, oh man, this was just all around every aspect of the game. There were I got nothing negative to say. I got nothing negative to say. And
I don't either.
And the Lions, this fall from grace. So yeah, I hope for their sake they. Actually, I don't hope they fix it. I hope they just fall hard on their fucking faces.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Goff and Dan Campbell may go from Detroit's number one sweethearts to public.
I like Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff, but I'm okay with Dan Campbell just going
That's
back.
fair.
Going back to the misery. And funniest stat I saw, Jared Goff, career record when Sean McVay or Ben Johnson are not calling the plays, he's 0-19-1.
I saw that, yeah. I saw that.
He's 0-19-1 when his offensive play caller is not Sean McVay or Ben Johnson.
Yeah, that's what they call a rough stat, Noah. Rough stat.
I don't think the Lions are going 0-4 this year, but yeah, they got a big fucking kick in the teeth week one, which I loved.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Shout out, go Pack, go.
Lions fans were getting too big of a head. They've been getting too big of a head, and their head's gotten too big, and so it makes a target bigger when you need to kick them in the teeth, and so this was a well-needed kick in the teeth for Lions fans.
Good.
What have you won? You've never been to a Super Bowl. Stop fucking talking your shit. I saw multiple videos of Lions fans pre this game saying, "Oh, this is," or after the game, they're like, "Oh, well, whatever. This is your guys' Super Bowl," and we're like, "Excuse me, what?
What?
Who are you?
Who are you? Super Bowl. Your Super Bowl.
Who are you to be talking about a Super Bowl when you've never even fucking been to one? Like."
Oh, you're going to be so much fun to stream with this season, Noah, if the Packers keep doing this shit.
Yeah, it's going to be real fun when the Lions go, 8-9 and miss the playoffs.
Before we move to the Sunday night game, just a quick note on why I think the 49ers are also going to continue to go down this year. They did waive Jake Moody and signed Eddie Pinheiro. Well,
Moody missed multiple kicks, and Pinheiro's got a history of missing multiple kicks, so it's kind of like, you're just you're subbing flour for flour here.
I guess. I don't know, but wild move. Anyway, Sunday Night Football, hell of a game. Hell of a fucking game if you did not turn this off and go to sleep at halftime. Because I mean, listen, Noah, it really looked like the Ravens had this in the bag. They, maybe Lamar should have won the MVP last year. Maybe the Bills aren't up to snuff. And then Josh Allen says, hey, I've seen this guy Patrick Mahomes go out there and win a couple games in the last couple of minutes, and it looked like fun. Maybe I should give that a shot. And unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. And I mean, 33 46, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just solid out of Josh Allen, not to mention the 2 that he also rushed in for. Hell of a game from Josh Allen. Hell of a game from the Buffalo Bills. Defense definitely needed some work. They did not have an answer for Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson for most of that game, and then it finally turned around a little bit. But we're talking about a game of the year contender on Sunday Night Football Week 1, bro.
Yeah, people on both sides coming at this with like big overreactions, big takes, whatever. This could very well be the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Should the Ravens have lost this game? No, not at all. Being that it was in Orchard Park, I think that helped rally Buffalo a little bit. People getting on Derrick Henry for the fumble are absolutely ridiculous because the Ravens aren't up as much as they are without Derrick Henry. Whatever. Bad fumble. Doesn't matter. People shitting on Lamar blows my fucking mind with this.
I don't get that at all, bro. I really don't.
Single thing wrong. And you look at all of these double-digit point, like, blown leads, and there's been like 5 of them in the last like 4 years for Baltimore. None of them are Lamar Jackson's fault. And Lamar Jackson is the one player in the league that people love to hate more than anybody else, and I do not understand it. I do not understand the hate. Like,
I don't either.
And every time people decide to turn on Lamar and hate on him for something, it has nothing to fucking do with him. All the dude goes out there and does is fucking ball out and put this team in the best position to win games as possible. And if you're going to look at somebody, look at fucking John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
But does John Harbaugh get any hate for this? No. Is anybody blaming John Harbaugh for this? No. Jair Alexander, yeah, he might be a culprit on this one, and rightfully so. But, there's this weird thing was when the Packers decide to part ways with players, it's usually for a reason.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing I saw was this little thread about, usually when the Packers get rid of somebody, you probably don't want to pick them up.
It's a good point. It hasn't worked out for many teams.
And I never really thought about that much until I was reading that today, and I was like, oh, no, actually there's a whole fucking list of like, if the Packers let him go or the Packers are willing to trade him for cheap, like you probably don't want him. And Jair had a terrible game. He had a terrible game, and you can point fingers there, whatever. But no, in all honesty, like this is potentially going to be a rematch in the AFC Championship game. So I'm not worried at all for Baltimore. Like it's fine, whatever. Zay Flowers looked fucking phenomenal. Lamar looked phenomenal. Derrick Henry looked phenomenal. A lot of guys on the Bills side of the ball look phenomenal. Keon Coleman, Josh Allen, James Cook. What more could you want? What more could you want?
Not much, dude. That was a hell of a game.
What a fucking game.
Great way to end Sunday. Great way.
And I'm not concerned about either team. Obviously, not concerned about either team.
No, not even a little bit. But
again, this is probably what I think the AFC Championship game is going to end up being.
Absolutely. And we go from one exciting fourth quarter to another exciting fourth quarter, Noah. Monday Night Football. Bears still suck.
Yeah, look at that win probability graph. Yeah.
Dude, wild shit. Wild shit. And I mean, the amount of memes with JJ McCarthy working at Olive Garden, Enterprise, an insurance company, like throughout the first 3 quarters, like it was intense. Like I have never seen a team base turn on a guy so quickly in 3 quarters of football. And then suddenly the wave of love coming back all in the fourth and from there on out. JJ McCarthy, though, I mean, he didn't play all particularly bad. 13 for 20, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Not terrible, especially considering they were playing from behind a lot, only making him throw the ball 20 times. That is Kevin O'Connell being in his bag, knowing what he is doing as a QB whisperer. I absolutely love it. And then on the other side,
that's a good coach.
That's a great coach. That's a great coach, Noah. And I will say on the other side, it looked like the Bears had that same great coach for a full drive. It was arguably the happiest I've ever been as someone who supports the Bears in the last 10 years. And that was one of the best drives I've seen the Chicago Bears perform. Great way to open the season. And then for the offense to contribute a total of 3 points since the first quarter was wild. Great pick six from the defense. That defense looked stout, looked solid until the end.
Until it didn't.
Yeah. Caleb Williams, I'm officially out. Like I've given him enough chances. I know I gave him 1 year, but I mean it feels like a little bit of the Kyler Murray situation where you have a very immature quarterback who's been told how great he is his entire life. All of these off-field antics or whatever they are, and then comes game time and they're still an immature baby that can't read a defense. And that's the vibe I got from Caleb coming out of college. That's the vibe I'm still getting from Caleb at 2 years in the year in the NFL. And like I said when we were talking about Cam Ward, two very similar styles of quarterbacking, and one of them is a number 1 overall pick and should have been a number 1 overall pick, and one of them happened to get drafted by the Bears with number 1 overall. Like, it's apples and oranges, and Caleb Williams did not show any progression. And granted, Ben Johnson's offense is a difficult one, all the motions and everything that he usually puts in there. It's just not a good look. And then especially with that article coming out about Caleb Williams last season, not a good look. I'm good. I'm done. Just wake me up when the next quarterback gets drafted.
Crazy in that comparison that only one of them is supposed to be generational. Caleb was supposed to be a generational talent, which is also funny because the last 2 quarterbacks we've had taken number 1 who are supposed to be generational. Trevor Lawrence and Caleb Williams. How are both of them doing? Not
good. Not good, Noah. Not very good.
Yeah, also really funny how the memes flipped from the first half to the second half because it was everybody was memeing the fucking Vikings and JJ McCarthy in the first half, and then the second half it's all memeing the fucking Bears and
the worst thing. No, can we talk about this? The worst thing to come out about this whole thing, like you said, the memes and everything flipped, and it was then all Bears hate and everything like that. I don't follow like anybody in the WNBA. No, I don't. And so I only see stuff from the WNBA when it gets retweeted.
Oh, Angel Reese's nail tech did Caleb's?
Angel Reese's nail tech did Caleb Williams' nails. And that's the type of loser mentality off the field that we can't have. And I'm not saying it contributed to the loss. I'm just saying when, it's a trickle-down effect, and so you get the negative energy from one thing moves to the other. I don't like it. But it looks like she's out of Chicago, so hopefully that relationship stops. Anyway.
Well, I don't think that has any impact on the play on the field, but...
No, but it's just not a good look.
Yeah.
I don't care about the painting the nails part. It's the fact that it's Angel Reese's tech. Like, come on, bro. You can't... You're fucking making so much more money. You can't go to another nail tech, bro. Come on.
Always fun to see the Bears meltdown. I was saying yesterday, I hate the Bears. I hate the Vikings. Difference is I have respect for the Vikings as a football organization. The Bears, oh, man. I mean, what have you done since the 80s? What have you done since the 80s? And
we had the first memeable quarterback in Jay Cutler.
Specifically since 2012, which was 13 years ago, it's just been real rough. And
I know.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's getting any better. I don't think Ben Johnson was your fix. which is crazy. Social media was wild for this game because Bears fans were so hype in the first quarter. It was like, oh shit, we finally have a coach. We're gonna do it. We're blah blah. Caleb Williams is an elite quarterback. If you get an actual coach, you can coach him. And then what did Caleb Williams do? When he doesn't have 15 scripted plays, he's fucking garbage. He's hot garbage. And I'm sorry, but J.J. McCarthy looked a much better quarterback in this game, playing in his first ever NFL game, and Caleb Williams playing in his 14th, 15th NFL game, something like that.
Again, 13 for 20. He only threw the ball 20 times. And I mean, granted, that's probably what he did at Michigan, but
that's what you should do with a young quarterback. Don't make him throw the ball a ton.
Yeah. Shout out KOC. But, dude, that's all I got football-wise today. Do you got anything else before we call it a night?
No, sir. That's that was week one. You're lucky I didn't go on a big rant with the Packers, but I didn't think there was much to say other than
I did have another 10 minutes carved out. I thought you were going to go about 10 on that. So
No. I mean, dominant on both sides of the ball. I mean, what else do you want me to say? I talked more about the Lions than I did about the fucking Packers. But
true.
We got another game here 2 days, so.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Packers, Commanders, Thursday night. We will have our full NFL and college football slate picks and analysis tomorrow night. You're not going to want to miss that. But yeah, that's all we got tonight. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. With all of that being said, I, of course, have been the Brofict one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll see you guys next time on Degenerate Takes.